Hey folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for more Daily Death and Taxes. We've had some long matches so far this week. We are again playing the Yorion and Taxes deck that Michael Braverman recently placed with. You can check out the deck from Monday for details. I'm going to flash it on screen real quick so you can get a general idea of what you're looking at before we mulligan our hand. Yeah, all right, fine. We're dead if this Aether Vial does not resolve, but our hand's pretty good if the Vial does resolve, so... Don't chalice me, bro. Bobo. White source? No white source. Alright. This Bob is pretty gross, but we have some Underground Sea is interesting. So are we looking at a 4-color Loam list rather than a Depths list? 4-color Loam with Bojukabog. Alright, we lose to that. I can revoke this. I would have snap conceded if I missed my land drop, though. Let the record show. That's the first time I've actually seen Kaya remove a permanent from play. I've played Loam 2 or 3 times with Kaya in the deck list. Yeah, this is one of Connor's deck list. And I've never actually done anything with that. This is probably just a scry machine. It can, like, technically draw some cards too, I guess. I don't feel like these are high enough impact cards most of the time to be good. Like, Kaya is situationally good, but a lot of times, especially when you're behind on board, it's quite bad. And similarly, Nissa is going to do nothing a lot of the time. So I feel like on this board, if my opponent doesn't have removal spells, I just get to revoke Planeswalker, and then maybe be back in this game. And, like, Kaya only gets to kill small stuff. And this is, like, such an awkward fucking Planeswalker because this can happen. Like, yeah. Sorry, it's just, like, confirming. Goodbye. That was 3 mana, get a 3/1, and destroy target Planeswalker. Pretty happy with that deal. Nice. Do I still revoke this Kaya, or do I, like, revoke something like Mox Diamond? Slash, do I just, like, Recruiter of the Guard for something that's scary? Because, like, Kaya's dead next turn. Assuming this doesn't die, which is not a safe assumption. There's also worlds where I just, like, wasteland my opponent and revoke a Mox Diamond. Like, they don't have white mana yet without Mox Diamond, and that's definitely something that matters. Like, the Kaya gains them some incidental life. The thing about, like, not revoking the Kaya, though, is that if my opponent just draws Oko, things get pretty weird. No, Kaya Orzhov, Usurper. We will revoke the Planeswalker. We'll see if this gets Abrupt Decayed again. That's my opponent's last card. Sure. I am good with that. I also think my mana is largely more valuable than their mana. I guess I could have done like an in-combat wasteland to play around exactly double Abrupt Decay. But I don't really think it's correct for me to do so. Kill Mox, reset Kaya. So it's 2 times X, 3 times X? No, it's just damage equal to number of cards in exile. Yeah, 5 damage, don't care. I can Recruiter for Ballista in this turn cycle to guarantee that I can kill Bob in the next turn cycle. Or I can Flicker Wisp this Mox Diamond and kill it, potentially keeping my opponent off of mana in the short term. I'm going to try to take my opponent off the guaranteed source of card advantage. I wish I could take Palace Jailer here, but I don't have the guaranteed next land. I'm going to just go ahead and take my guarantee here. The disaster scenario is where like my opponent puts Oko into play this turn. My opponent's Bobs are going to be very good since they have incidental life gain from Kaya and Nissa. This is going to be a long league. You can hit Bob. I really don't want to wasteland Maze of Ith yet. I can do so, but playing Flicker Wisp on my Recruiter is potentially more valuable than anything else at this stage. And wastelanding the Maze is so bad if my opponent gets a Loam. I also have like Yorion to play too later on. That incentivizes me to have more lands in play. Ah, it's Bob yet again. That's pretty annoying. Savine's Reclamation is going to make it awkward to answer it as well via non-exiling means. I guess it's time to just commit a bunch of stuff to the board and hope our opponent can't, like, deluge and sweep. I don't want to play this Revoker on Kaya, because I don't really think that Kaya is that good. But because I've played out this Mother of Runes, I need to protect it. So that's what I'm doing. A Chalice of the Void. Chalice on a larger number could be weird. Like, a Chalice on 3 would be very good against me. I don't know that my opponent can do that since so many of their best cards are at 3 as well. But like an Oko here is devastating. That is not... We're good with that. And I'm pretty comfortable with things once my mom is online. Removing Bob would be cool. I can do so via Palace Jailer next turn, while also just still keeping the mom shields up. I think I'm good with that. And like, I also incidentally get a flyer that can go over Bob. We're not going to take any attacks due to the combination of Mazaveth and Bob as a blocker. Where are you, Palace Jailer? There you are. Alright, another Chalice of the Void. Well, I can't put that on 4, so I'm feeling okay. Now I might be at the point where I can beat an Oko. Please don't have it to make me find out, though. Like, I don't want to know. Opponent doesn't have mana to play Uro and get it back in the same turn cycle. Just target a wasteland. Sure. Alright, so you wasteland me, and then in response, I wasteland you. Pokemon, gotta waste them all. That's not how that goes, but it felt appropriate. Alright, land for Jailer, please. Flicker Wisp, what do you do? A lot of things, like so many things, all the things. I don't think I want to alpha attack and kill Kaya. I can just wisp my wisp to wisp Bob and deny my opponent a draw step. Or I can wisp for Recruiter and get a piece of equipment or something. I think I'm good with just, like, wisping my wisp after attacks. Alright, attack you. Attack you. When I can profitably kill Kaya in one attack, I'll do so that I can reset my Revoker more profitably. I think denying my opponent an extra card here is pretty darn good. There's a lot of weird things that can happen where my opponent plays a Nissa with 77 loyalty or something like that, and then I have to, like, read the bottom ability of the card to figure out what it does. So Nissa can do 10 damage out of nowhere in the late game once my opponent has 8 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So potentially as soon as next turn. Life from Loam is definitely annoying. Not a game ender, but it slows down my clock a lot. Means I'm going from a 7 damage a turn clock to a 4 damage a turn clock until I remove Bob. That removes Bob. Not now, though. Later. Would I be okay with trading Revoker for Bob? That's a weird one. Probably not. Like, this trying to remove my mom in conjunction with another removal spell is pretty bad for me. Maze of Ith is so weird here. Yet more Flicker Wisp. Flicker Wisp can reset the Revoker if things get weird. It can, like, do the Wisp trick again with Bob. Okay, yeah, just a Swamp, that's fine. It can remove Chalice of the Void as a thing that matters. It's everything. It's everything that I need. Like, Flicker Wisp also represents a source of removal for a giant Nissa. It looks... Oh, a Chalice of the Void for X equals 4 for Palace Jailer. Cute. I think the disciplined play is just remove the Chalice on 1 and bash in for a whole bunch of damage this turn rather than try to set up the Palace Jailer win. 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 7 damage this turn, followed by lethal next turn. Yeah, I'm good with not Palace Jailering in the immediate future. Alright, opponent has 2 basic lands. Three, 6, 10. Yeah. Do I still have lethal next turn if I kill Kaya? I deal 3 to my opponent, that puts him to 12, 3, 6, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not necessarily. Yeah, let's just send it at them. Alright. Rest in Peace sounds great against my opponent. I probably am not going to go with Surgical Extraction, though. It's more tempting than usual because I have this like weird 8 card deck variant. And like my opponent has Savine's Reclamation for Bob again and again and again, which is super annoying. Let's see where I stand trying to like board 5 cards. Things that remove Bob stay. And my blink effects are great to generate value over time. My opponent is probably going to shift into having fewer creatures for both sideboard games, but removing Bob is so important that I don't know like if or how many of these I'm going to trim. I don't necessarily see equipment being great. I don't know, like deck feels like it's going to be pretty good. There's a temptation to trim on 1-drops, like 16 1-drops against a Chalice deck when they're probably leaving Chalices in for post sideboard games is probably not where I want to be. So I could do something like trim 2, trim 1. Trim 1. Like, opponent puts so much value on their Bob. Thalia could be worse than the 1-drops. Especially on the draw. What if we keep the Mom? Do something like that instead. I don't know about like cutting the final Thalia and then like playing Stoneforge and then finding one other cut to keep Jitte. I don't really think Jitte is great. I don't really think the entire equipment package is great, if I'm being honest. We have a flexible hand, which I quite like. We have something that's good against Bob, we have something that's good against Mox or Planeswalkers, and we have a decent amount of mana. No way I'm throwing something like this back. So that previous game was a game where our Yorion would have been very good if we had needed it. So like if that game had drug on just a touch longer, I had gotten to play the Yorion, like draw 2 cards off of Recruiters, and then maybe like also reset. Oh fuck, this Revoker is gonna be hot. Just play like a Knight or something. Alright, so they also have the Thespian Stage combo in their deck. That's not a big deal. Mom might get Abrupt Decay to end a turn here or something. Alright, they're just going to try to protect their land and fix their mana a little bit. That's fair. Baron Moore or Bojukabog. None of those produce green. Just saying. None of them produce green. I could probably get a cheeky mom attack in there and it would be safe-ish, but I don't think there is a reason to. Protecting this Revoker is so important since it represents 2 mana. Yeah, that's kind of where I saw that going. Now we just like play Revoker as a follow-up clock, and then we have, or sorry, we play Crusader as a follow-up clock, and then we have Revoker for whatever shenanigans our opponent gets up to. We have Caracas plus Swords to Plowshares as insurance against the Dark Depths combo just happening. We should have our opponent dead in 3 turns. There's plenty they can do to like interact with us and stop that, especially if they draw colored mana. Yeah, we've got that covered though, multiple ways. Multiple ways. I don't think I want to tap the mom, so I'm going to play the Caracas pre-combat. Play Wisp, don't play Wisp, play Wisp, don't play Wisp. Play Wisp. It's a really cute play to try and nug a Mox Diamond here. I should maybe do that. There's a line involving both Wasteland and Chalice. That's bad for me. If my opponent had Chalice, they already would have played it out. If they had Wasteland, they would have held that. Yeah, let's... So the thing is that this probably does nothing. And so like I maybe shouldn't even take this line, and I should play around like exactly Wasteland into Chalice. But this makes it so that if I draw a future Flicker Wisp, it's more profitable for me to... Or actually, I know they have a Wasteland already. But like, they're not going to make it main phase on their turn, I don't think. They do have a Wasteland, right? That was this game? That was this game. Alright, how to play this turn cycle. I could attack everything except Mom. I think I'm pretty good here almost no matter what I do. So like if they Wasteland me to get rid of Caracas and create their Merit Lodge, I can Swords to Plowshare it, give them a bunch more life, but I have an overwhelming board presence and I nuke their life from the Loam. And if they don't Wasteland, I'm not going to sit here and think about this too much. Like I can open up some of my creatures to removal, but outside of something really crazy happening, I think I'm good. Let's see. I could also, like, just play Yorion now. Yorion, blink a bunch of my stuff. I have a blocker plus a layer of protection. If my opponent loses 2 land, there's no combination of 2 cards that can beat me. Especially if I blink out one of their lands. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, what about Caracas from the other side? What does that do? If opponents were to rip Caracas, that would beat me. Okay, so let's not do that, and let's Swords to Plowshares the Merit Lodge, give them more life, and then just like set up to like pound my opponent from there. I should have thought this through a little bit more, but that's okay. Like I could have just held the Flicker Wisp back instead. Yeah, that's certainly not bad. It's actually most annoying if it goes on Horror, since I have another one on deck. But it probably goes on Human to turn on other removal spells, yeah. Would I trade Revoker for Plague Engineer? Yes, because I'll play Yorion and Flicker Wisp Mox Diamond and kill it. We've essentially just kept our opponent from casting most spells this game, which is quite strong. Does Revoker crash in? 4, 7, 8, 9 unblockable damage this turn. If opponent blocks the Revoker, I can redeploy. I don't really need to redeploy. I'd rather just like have another card in hand and a little bit of extra safety. Okay, so I have 6 damage incoming next turn. I can turn it into 8 damage or turn it into lethal. Or I guess I already have lethal if I can blink Plague Engineer. Yeah, let's just play the land and pass. That's probably actively good for me, considering how much damage I am putting on my opponent immediately. Don't play the Mother of Ruin out by instinct. I could blindly revoke another Planeswalker, but it sets me up for a really weird position if I Plague Engineer. If my opponent Plague Engineers Horror. Another Bob. That's not what my opponent wants to see, but that is what I want to see. Alright, we have won another long knockdown, drag-out fight. I think I played that one a little loose. I could have taken a little bit more time. I was more convinced that my opponent was dead than they were, so I didn't think things out very carefully. It was kind of a, like, I think I'm winning this game no matter what, so I didn't play as tight as I could, and it's also like hour 3 of recording at this point in a row, so... Alright, I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll see how we do. We're currently 3-0.